All right, let's talk about the secret ingredient. You know, the one thing that's quietly powering all the most, well, magical experiences in tech right now. It's what's finally making our so-called smart devices actually start to feel smart.
Oh, you know the feeling, right? You ask your phone for something that seems super simple, and it just completely whiffs. Or you're using an app, and it feels like it's fighting you every step of the way with zero idea of what you're actually trying to do. It's this universal frustration, and it points to a huge, huge gap in how our technology really works.
And this problem, it actually has a name. We call it the context gap. It is the single biggest reason why these incredibly powerful tools we have can feel so clumsy, so unhelpful. They've got all the processing power in the world, but they're missing a basic understanding of our world.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. This quote, it's from a real designer, a real user, who is struggling with their software. The specific tool they needed to use only works in one very specific situation, but the software itself gives them no clue, no help, because it doesn't understand the context of what they're doing. To the app, it's all just a bunch of buttons, and it's hoping you'll press them in exactly the right order.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? This goes way beyond 3D modeling. It's why your autocorrect has those epic fails, why your navigation app sends you on some bizarre route, and why so many AI assistants sound like they're just reading from a script. Why can't they just get it? Well, the answer and the solution is all about context.
So let's define what we're talking about here. What exactly is this missing piece of the puzzle? Because when we talk about context in technology, it's something really specific and really powerful.
The formal term for this is context-aware computing, but what it really means is the ability for a system to look around, gather clues about you and your environment, and use that information to give you a truly personalized experience. It's not just about one piece of data, it's about seeing the whole picture, who you are, where you are, and what you're up to.
And in the world of modern AI, this whole idea gets put on steroids. See, context isn't just the question you type in, no way. It's this entire stack of information. It's the initial instructions the AI was given, it's your entire conversation history, it's external data it can pull from the web or your documents, and it's even a list of all the tools it knows how to use. It's the AI's entire working memory for solving your problem.
Now, it's so important to understand that getting this right is incredibly hard. Real-world information is messy. It's incomplete, sometimes it even contradicts itself. I mean, it's pulling from your phone's GPS, your calendar, your past emails. Trying to make sense of all that is a massive, massive engineering challenge. And that very challenge is leading to this major shift in the tech world. We're moving beyond the simple idea of writing a good prompt and into this much deeper, more complex discipline of actually engineering the context.
This slide just lays out the evolution perfectly. On the left, you've got prompt engineering. That's about crafting the one perfect question. And that's still important, don't get me wrong, but it's just one piece. On the right, that's context engineering. This is about designing an entire system that goes out and dynamically gathers all the relevant info before the AI even gets the question. It's the difference between asking a good question and preparing a comprehensive briefing.
So here's the magic trick revealed. This is how that amazing AI assistant really works. You give it a simple request, like book a meeting for me. But behind the scenes, a context engine just springs to life. It's checking your calendar, scanning for relevant emails, seeing what tools it has, and then it builds this super rich, detailed prompt for the AI model. Then the model has everything it needs to give you an answer that's genuinely helpful, not just some generic response.
And hey, this isn't just a cool theory. When companies actually get this right, the results are, well, they're staggering. The shift towards context engineering is driving some serious, real-world value across a ton of different industries.
Okay, take the insurance industry. By building AI systems that actually understand the full context of a claim, the policy details, the client's history, all the regulations, companies have seen an 80% reduction in processing errors. 80%!
Or how about software development? At Microsoft, they found that when they gave their coding assistants the right context about a project, developers saw a 26% jump in the number of tasks they could complete. They weren't just coding faster, they were solving problems way more effectively.
And of course, the market is noticing. The projected size for context-aware computing is set to explode to over $266 billion by 2032. This isn't some niche trend. This is the future of how businesses are going to run.
This table just pulls it all together. You look across insurance, software, e-commerce, finance, the pattern is exactly the same. When you engineer the context, you see these massive drops in errors, huge jumps in success rates, and a lot less user frustration. This is literally how you turn an AI from a clever toy into business-critical infrastructure.
So let's zoom out for a minute, because this idea is so much bigger than just AI chatbots or coding tools. This principle of understanding context, it's universal.
I mean, think about it. It applies directly to UI/UX design. Remember that 3D sculpting app? A context-aware tool would just know when it's supposed to work. It applies to software testing, helping us move away from rigid scripts to tests that actually reflect how people use a product. And yeah, it's the fundamental thing that separates a cheap demo from a product that feels truly magical and drives real business results.
Ultimately, this is the big takeaway. We have spent decades just chasing more processing power, more features, more data. But the next great leap forward in technology isn't going to come from more power. It's going to come from more understanding. It's all about building systems that have the context to meet us right where we are.
And that leaves us with the really critical question for the future. You see, for our devices to have this context, they need access to our data, our location, our conversations, our preferences. So as we build this smarter, more helpful world, how do we make absolutely sure that we're also building a private and secure one? That's the balance. That's the tightrope that we all have to figure out next.